Hi everybody, Average Vintage Collector here. Welcome to my first episode. I have been waiting to do this for seems like a very long time. I'm excited to see how it goes. Hopefully it goes really well. Hopefully you enjoy it. What I'm planning on doing in this first episode is just kind of telling you a little bit about myself and then why I'm doing the channel, and of course showing some cards, because who doesn't want to see cards, right? So I've been in the hobby, like I said, for a very long time. I'm from grew up in the 80s. I have a big appreciation for 80s cards, especially the 84 to 86 top sets. I understand not vintage, and vintage is kind of in my name, so don't lose me out, all right? Just stay with me. I'm just kind of getting through my intro. But the 84 to 86 sets, they mean a lot to me. They just make me think of a time when I used to be able to ride my bike to the corner store, bring them back. My grandfather, my aunt would always go through the cards with me, and just a really fun time of collecting. I collected up through the mid-90s. During the late 90s, I kind of switched my focus to hockey, but that didn't last too long. In the 2000s, I jumped back in after a brief hiatus and collected mainly football, focusing pretty much just on Buffalo Bills. Grew up in Buffalo, still live outside of Buffalo. So I did that for a while, and then again, life happened, money had to go elsewhere, and just kind of things changed. In 2012, I got back into it again, and it was baseball. And I collected on and off again right up through 2021, and everything just in modern just kind of became stale to me. The market was saturated. The cards didn't have as much meaning to me. I didn't appreciate it. So in 2023, I jumped into vintage, not back in. And the reason I hadn't ever tried vintage before was because ignorance on my part, I thought it was unattainable. I thought everything was too pricey. There was no way I would ever be able to afford a Mickey Mantle or any of these other players from the past. I just really thought it was way outside of the realm of possibility for me. My budget is very limited. Even now it is very limited. As in my title, average vintage collector. So when I share my cards, my collection, I am not going to have any high-end cards, no 10s, no PS graded 10s. I have very few graded cards. Most of my collection is raw, and when it comes to those raw cards, I buy the card because I like the card, and I don't care sometimes about the corner or the centering. A lot of that does come into play, but at the same time, I just want the cards in my collection. And if they're there, I'm going to probably buy them. When I did enter the world of vintage, it was just jump right in, no plan, no nothing, and started just a little here, a little there. And it got to the point where I was like, what am I doing? Where does it end? There's just so many things. So finally kind of became focused. Got some things I want to focus on, have a plan now in place. And during the course of this, I will try and show you some of those cards. Why am I doing this channel? I really, really, really love talking and sharing cards. I absolutely love it. To me, those two parts of the hobby are two integral parts of the hobby besides just buying and purchasing cards. A lot of times, for me personally, I'm not going to buy a card a week. I'm not even going to sometimes buy a card a month. And I'm talking not $200 purchases. I'm talking $10, $15, $20. It's not me. That I know what my budget is, and I know that I have to be pretty strict on it. So the way to scratch that itch for me is to watch YouTube videos. And in this case, make one, right? And talk about my collection and share my collection. So that's kind of why I'm doing it. I'd love to really connect with people. I don't have a lot of friends in the hobby. I actually don't really have any friends in the hobby that I can just sit down and talk with and share cards and talk about cards. So this is a way for me to do that. So without further ado, I don't want to just sit here and ramble for 10, 15 minutes. I'd really like to show some cards, and I'm pretty sure that's why you guys are here. I'm not really going to show a whole lot today. Most videos I really won't show a lot. 10, 15-minute videos is all I'm kind of looking for. I understand that time is really something that a lot of people don't have a lot of. So here we go. Without further ado, I'll turn my camera around and cards. All right, so my first card I'm going to show This is a 1972 Willie Mays in action card, and the reason I'm showing this card was because when I did make that jump into vintage, this was the first card that I purchased. My first vintage card was a Willie Mays in action. And as you can see, the centering is horrendous, really. But that was kind of new to me. With collecting modern for so long, I wasn't really, too concerned with centering because there weren't that many centering issues. But this is going back to like those 80s cards where there's, centering issues. So 72, this one is definitely there's some better prints out there. But this one is special to me just because it really is the first card that got me into the world of vintage. The second card I'm going to show is a 1965 AL home run leaders. I bought this at my local card shop for not a lot of money. It was one of the first Mickey Mantles I have, even though it is not an official Mickey Mantle. It's a multiplayer card, but it also has Boog Powell on it, and Boog Powell is one of my favorite players of all time. And I just think it's so cool that he shares a card with Mickey Mantle. They're on the same card, and then how can you forget about Harmon Killebrew? But as you can see, card's not too bad condition. It's got some corner stuff and some edging stuff, but really nice card, and I really appreciate it. But why am I showing this one? Why am I showing this card? Well, my wife, for Christmas this year, she is not a card person, okay? She watches the videos with me, and she's patient with me as far as the hobby goes, but she doesn't really know cards. And she knew that getting a card would probably make me happier than anything as far as a gift, so she went out of her comfort zone and went and bought me a card, and she did amazing. And what she got me this year was that same card, but it is a PSA 7, and it is an unbelievable card. There are not many graded cards in my collection, and the graded cards I do have in my collection are not 7s. They are, 1s to maybe 3s. Like I said, I am not looking to break the bank. I don't have the funds to do that. If I did that, I'd have one card in my collection, it'd probably be about it. So I really, really, really like this card. It's a little off center on the back, top to bottom, but very, very, very nice card. And again, Boog's in there with Mick, and a very nice card. Majority of my collection is baseball, but I do have some football. I also have some modern stuff, so I know it says J Average Vintage Collector, and if you don't want to stay tuned for the modern stuff, please feel free, but I will, show a little bit of everything. This card is a 1965 Topps Ernie Warlick card for the Buffalo Bills. Really cool stuff on the back. The holder's kind of beat up, but I don't really have too many of these long, skinny holders, so I got what I got as far as that goes. But pretty cool. Ernie Warlick, kind of a local hero guy. He is a member of the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame. He only played 4 seasons in the NFL. They were all with Buffalo. He was a Pro Bowler every season. He was a tight end. 90 receptions, about 1,500 receiving yards, but he was a blocking tight end. That's really what he was known for. He started his career very late. He did 4 years of playtime in the CFL, and then he had 4 years of service in the military. So I love those stories. Anyone that served time in the military, you got my respect. And this guy came back and ended up putting together a really great but short career with the Buffalo Bills. So really cool card. I like the taller, style that the cartoon, the on the back with the buffalo is really cool. So there's that one. Now there's 2 more cards I'm going to show today. I might get some boos right off the bat. But another thing about me, other than being a big Bills fan, I am a lifelong Astros fan. And I know people say, Astros, come on, with all the stuff and baggage that's come the last few years. I was 2 of my favorite players ever, Killer Bees, Craig Biggio, Jeff Bagwell. I was a fan of the Astros back well into the 90s. And when I got back into the hobby in 2012, after giving away my childhood collection, which is another video on its own, I will not get into that story, but I got back into the hobby, and the first card that I bought to get back into the hobby was this 2012 Jose Altuve Topps Triple Threads. It's his second year card, but it's cool. It's got a relic. It's got an autograph, numbered to 99. He, at the time, was my favorite player. He was playing on a terrible Astros 100-loss season teams multiple years in a row. And he really was a favorite player of mine. So whether you like him or hate him, I'm a guy that really does like him. I won't get into too much on the debate about the cheater this and cheater that. He was really somebody that I enjoyed watching, and I still enjoy watching to this day. So that was a cool one. That one's important to me. And then the last card I'm going to show, this one I picked up years ago, just on a whim. This is a 2010 Upper Deck Exquisite card of Jim Kelly, and it is, as you can see, it's numbered to 3, number 2 out of 3. There's a laundry tag in there, quad card, very thick card. I don't have a holder, so I just kind of put it in this case and propped it up with some cardboard inserts from packs. I don't really know what to do with it, but what a freaking cool card. I love this thing. Look how young he is there, too. The guy's a local hero in Buffalo, legend in Buffalo. Some people, he does have a checkered background. I won't, I'm not going to argue with that, but he is all about Buffalo. I'll say that. So that was pretty much all I was going to share today. I'm really glad you kind of tuned in. I'm fine-tuning things. Listen, if you have any advice for me, any tips on what to do, and if I've done some things wrong in this video or haven't done things in this video or I could do things better, please let me know. I am very great on criticism. I would appreciate it if you subscribe. If you subscribe, that'd be great. Goals that I have that I'd like to accomplish. I'd like to, in 2025, by the end of 2025, get 150 subscribers. That to me seems very far-fetched at this point. I'm not sure I'll get, 20, if that. I think that's being a lot. But I'm going to try and put out 2 videos a month. I have a job. I have a full-time job. I work a lot of overtime. I have family. The time is very tricky to play around. But I'm gonna shoot for 2 videos a month. Maybe more than that. Hopefully it's not less, but it may be more than that. And it's going to kind of be the same type of thing. Maybe we'll do Q&A one time. Who knows? But right now it's just going to be kind of sharing my cards. I am not doing this for the money. I am not doing this to become a YouTube superstar, rock star, whatever you want to call it. I'm doing it because I love collecting and I love connecting with people over the hobby. So thanks for tuning in. My email is in the description of this video, and it's also on my channel. Please email me with any comments, suggestions, and I appreciate you watching. Hopefully this goes over pretty well, and episode 2 will be soon. Thanks.